Good evening, you're now with me, Lorenzo Isaac, for TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. The establishment of the Sarawak WAQF Sustainability Fund is among the key matters presented by the Sarawak WAQF Foundation to Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. The proposal was highlighted in a courtesy call by the Foundation's delegation at the Sri Satria Pertiwi complex earlier today. Board of Trustees Chairman Datuk Sri Abang Abdul Karim Tun Datuk Abang Openg led the delegation accompanied by fellow board members and top management officials. During the session, the foundation updated the Premier on the progress of WAQF initiatives within the state, including the administration and growth of assets and social development schemes for the Ummah. The Envision Fund is designed as a strategic platform to gather contributions through cash, corporate and asset WAQF to build a professional and high-impact ecosystem. According to the foundation, the fund is anticipated to drive socio-economic growth using contemporary WAQF principles that match the development goals of Sarawak. The engagement also reinforces the strategic partnership between the foundation and the Sarawak government to provide enduring advantages for future generations. Also in attendance were Deputy Minister in the Premier's Department, Datuk Dr. Abdul Rahman Junaidi, and Sarawak Islamic Council President Datuk Ms. Nutaha. The Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry (KPDN) is listing 12 essential items under the Hari GAWAI 2026 festive season maximum price scheme in Sarawak to ensure market stability. Sarawak KPDN Director Matthew Dominic Barin says this price control takes effect for 9 days from May 27 until June 4th. The initiative protects consumers from unscrupulous price manipulation by ensuring an adequate supply of retail goods through the festive season.
Yang pertama adalah ayam tua hidup, yang kedua kepak ayam, ketiga daging kerbau import dari India, yang keempat bawang putih dari China, dan lima kubis bulat import Indonesia dan China tidak termasuk kubis dari Beijing. Yang keenam, cili kering kerinting. Yang ketujuh, kelapa biji, harga maksimum di peringkat borong sahaja. Yang ke-8, kelapa parut, harga maksimum di peringkat runcit sahaja. Dan yang ke-9, santan kelapa, harga maksimum di peringkat runcit sahaja. Yang ke-10, yang sangat penting di sini untuk Hari Gawai Dayak adalah daging babi, iaitu bahagian perut. Ini kita di Sarawak kita panggil 3 layer. Dan yang ke-11, daging babi, daging dan juga lemaknya. Dan yang ke-12, babi hidup. Yang ini di peringkat ladang sahaja.
Matthew disclosed the details following an on-site inspection at the scheme at Imat Tabuan Jaya in Kuching earlier today. To guarantee compliance, Sarawak KPDN deployed 207 enforcement officers along with 101 price monitoring officials statewide. Enforcement teams will be conducting rigorous checks at public markets, agri-markets, tamu markets and shopping malls across the state. Strict penalties will be imposed against any traders failing to adhere to the maximum regulated pricing structure throughout the operation period. The Battery Energy Storage System, or BESS, is set to expand to multiple new locations following the opening of tenders for the system, especially in West Malaysia. Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Amar Fadilah Yusof says this is a crucial step in supporting large-scale solar LSS projects while ensuring the stability of the national electricity grid.
Ya, kita telah pun membuka tender untuk di Semenanjung khususnya Battery Energy Storage System sebab bila solar yang banyak dilaksanakan daripada solar 1 sehingga solar yang ke-6 bila matahari penuh, banyak jadi ianya boleh memekarkan tenaga sehingga 4 jam. Jadi maknanya waktu 4 jam ya grid kita akan kemuncak. Tapi penggunaan mesti banyak, jadi grid kita boleh terancam, boleh menyebabkan trip dan sebagainya. Jadi untuk stable kan, kita perlu bateri. Jadi bateri bila ni masuk bateri, barunya bekalkan secara secara mengikut berdasarkan penggunaan lebih stabil grid kita.
He adds that moving forward, any LSS projects standard are expected to also include BESS components to ensure a more stable and controlled electricity supply. Fadila also revealed that Sarawak Energy Berhad will be opening a tender for BESS in Sarawak. He says several other locations, including those in the west and south of Peninsular Malaysia, will follow, depending on suitable project sites identified through the tender process. Tensions in West Asia remain high despite growing diplomatic efforts to salvage the fragile US-Iran ceasefire. While negotiators are moving closer to a temporary truce deal, fresh accusations of violations, warnings from Iran's supreme leader, and uncertainty over US President Donald Trump's approval continue to shake global markets and raise fears over energy security. Here's the latest developments from Cheryl Shaminato.
Thanks, Lorenzo. US and Iranian negotiators edge toward a deal to extend their fragile ceasefire for 60 days, but the potential breakthrough was still hanging on President Donald Trump's approval. The development came after Washington and Tehran accused each other of violating the truce, underscoring the volatility of talks 3 months after the West Asia war began with US-Israeli strikes on Iran. The US sources confirmed, reporting by Axios, that the two sides had agreed on a memorandum of understanding to prolong the ceasefire and launch negotiations on Iran's nuclear program. Under the proposed deal, shipping through Hormuz would be unrestricted, with no tolls or harassment. Iran will remove all mines within 30 days, and the US would lift its naval blockade if commercial traffic resumes. However, Iran's Tasnim news agency said the text had not been finalized and that Pakistan would be informed if a deal was reached. Iranian sources add that any deal would be complete only when announced by Tehran, not unilaterally by Trump. Iran had said it was preparing a 14-point framework agreement prioritizing an end to the war on all fronts, including Lebanon, where Israel had stepped up its attacks on Hezbollah and the civilian population. Iranian officials have publicly disclosed only broad outlines of the proposal, with further details emerging through Iranian media reports. On Monday, senior Iranian negotiators traveled to Qatar for talks that state media described as part of the diplomatic process. Tehran was seeking the release of around $24 billion in frozen Iranian assets abroad as part of the agreement. Around $2 billion should be made available at the start of the announcement of the memorandum. There's no official figure for Iran's frozen overseas assets. The Iranian media outlets have recently estimated the total at between $100 billion and $123 billion. Meanwhile, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei says that the US and Israel were seeking to undermine the Islamic Republic in a written message read on state television.
طرح و نقشه کور دشمن پس از جنگ تحمیلی و فشار اقتصادی و محاصره تبلیغاتی و سیاسی، ایجاد تفرقه و تجزیه اجتماعی برای جبران شکست‌های میدان نظامی و به زانو درآوردن ملت است.
In his message marking the anniversary of the founding of the Islamic Republic's national legislature, he called for unity and cohesion among Iranians. 56-year-old Mojtaba Khamenei succeeded his father, Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, who was killed on February 28th in the opening US-Israeli strikes on Iran. He has not appeared in public since before assuming the position. European stocks closed lower on Thursday as investors monitored developments surrounding the US-Iran conflict and prospects of a peace deal that could reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Higher oil prices also fueled inflation concerns, raising fears of possible interest rate hikes by major central banks. The pan-European stock 600 fell 0.75%, while the UK's FTSE 100 dropped 1.02%. Germany's DAX and France's CAC 40 lost 0.59% and 0.61% respectively. And those are some of the latest developments from the conflict in West Asia. For more updates, head to TVS.NY and our TVS Inspire app. Now back to Lorenzo for the rest of tonight's report.
Light rail transit LRT services on the Ampang Sri Petaling line, which was disrupted on Thursday following a train derailment near the Chan Sao Lin station, are expected to resume next Wednesday. Transport Minister Anthony Loke says work to remove the derailed train is currently underway before track repairs can begin.
Selepas train ini dikeluarkan, maka kerja-kerja untuk membaiki track akan dimulakan dan akan mengambil masa 3 hingga 5 hari. Dan dijangka track ini akan dimulakan semula, diaktifkan semula pada hari Rabu 3 Jun, iaitu selepas cuti panjang hujung minggu ini.
Loke explains that when operations resume, train speeds will be controlled as a safety measure before services fully return to normal within 7 to 10 days. A rapid KL Ampang Sri Petaling line train derailed while passing through a track switching area near Chan Sao Lin station, disrupting train schedules. There were 25 passengers on board at the time, all of whom were safely evacuated without injury. Preliminary findings showed the first carriage was on the correct track, but the following carriages entered a different route, causing the train to be pulled off the track. He says the incident is believed to have been caused by a failure in the track switching system, which is supposed to operate automatically. Following the incident, the Transport Ministry has set up an independent special task force to investigate the true cause of the derailment, including possible human negligence or system failure.
Dan pasukan petugas khas ini akan diberikan tempoh maksimal 30 hari untuk menyediakan satu laporan, dan laporan itu akan dikemukakan kepada Jamaah Menteri untuk tindakan susulan, dan laporan itu juga akan dihebahkan kepada umum.
Swift action by firefighters, together with early efforts by residents, helped prevent a total disaster during a longhouse fire in Kampong Labau, Bekenu early this morning. A total of 136 residents were left homeless after a 21-door longhouse along Jalan Sungai Saeh, Kampong Labau, Bekenu, was destroyed in the incident. Sarawak Fire and Rescue Department says the fire involved a non-permanent longhouse structure which was completely destroyed. Miri Zone Fire Investigation Chief Awangku Muhammad Hasmin reveals residents and longhouse occupants tried to put out the fire before fire and rescue teams arrive.
Kebakaran berjarak lebih kurang daripada Balai Bomba Batuniah sejauh 23 km dan berjaya dipadam pada jam pukul 3 pagi, 3.20 pagi. Sementara menunggu kehadiran pasukan penyelamat Balai Bomba Batuniah, ramai orang awam, penduduk penghuni di rumah panjang tersebut telah mencuba membuat pemadaman dan hampir-hampir berjaya. Namun disebabkan daripada faktor usia premis yang berusia lebih kurang 22 tahun menyebabkan kebakaran tidak dapat dikawal oleh orang awam dan terpaksa menunggu daripada pasukan bomba daripada Balai Bomba Batu Niah. Kita mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih dan amat bersyukur kepada orang awam atas usaha mereka yang cuba memadam kebakaran tersebut, dan inisiatif tersebut amatlah dihargai daripada pasukan bomba dan penyelamat Malaysia.
Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching and have a good night.